Welcome everybody to my hiking and camping channel. This is part 4. Please do check out parts 1 through 3. In this video you can see here we are pitching the old version of the Laurel Designs Trailstar. I've had this shelter for many years now. You will see next to it is pitched my brand new version of the silnylon Trailstar, which I have had about 1 year now. We will notice that the new Trailstar is slightly longer and wider than the old version. Also in this video we will have a look to see how you can pitch this tarp when the ground is particularly rough and lumpy bumpy and how you can overcome that. Please do excuse the wind noise. What I was trying to say was that the new version of the Trailstar faced a gust of wind 36.5 miles per hour, the same as the Namaj 3GT did in Storm Eunice, and the Trailstar didn't move an inch.
I will say, just off the bat, I haven't pitched this old version. This is the original version, and I've not pitched this in I don't know how many years, so there are a few wrinkles in it, which obviously would be worked out. You can see the material. It'd be interesting to know how waterproof, hopefully still very, this material is, because of course it's being stored for a very long time. It really probably is the first time it's been pitched in 6 or 7 years.
At least.
The material itself looks in very, very good condition, like I said, apart from the creases, which you might be able to make out. So I don't know whether it would need a retreat or not. It's still in very good condition. In fact, if you remember my Scarp tent 2, there was a very, very small hole in one part of the material where I don't really know where it came from. But this looks to be in still very, very good condition.
This is not for sale, and I am just showing you what an old one looks like. And clearly storing it with longevity clearly is not a problem.
They're never that easy to get into, but I tell you, the difference from the wind out there to the complete lack of wind in here is ridiculous. Probably another way we would get a slightly better pitch at the back is to loosen the back off fractionally. You've got to come in this video as well, have you? Oh, you're soaking wet, lassie. Stay there, stay. Oh, lassie. Why can't you come over and say hello when you're dry? Why have you got to do your hellos when you're soaking wet? No. Go on, outside a minute. Go on, lassie, outside. Go on, outside. Leslie, go on, outside, you're soaking wet. We'll just stay there a minute. So, it has pitched, really, really well. Like I said, it was a little bit faffy, as you would have noticed, for the simple reason that when it's blowing, an absolute gale, it's not that easy to keep this centre pole up while you're getting your pegs and your lines in. once you've got this central pole done, in any of the versions, then you're good to, you are good to get going. It's kind of nice to get back into this old girl again. The only reason I haven't used this
was because I love the Cuben fibre Trailstar so much, until the new version of the silnylon Trailstar.
It's not that easy. It's not very dignified getting out. How's my foot? When it's not so windy, you can, of course, and I do recommend pitching it a little bit high. I'll just give you a few tips. Now, I heard that someone was saying you can't pitch on lumpy bumpy ground. Well, okay, I've managed to find an area that's relatively, flat here, but it's not completely flat. You got some lumps here and some lumps there, and when you look at mine over here, you notice that because the ground actually drops down there, it kind of goes down like that. Normally you would take this line here, and bring it out a bit further, but to give me some wind resistance, I've actually deliberately pitched it, quite close and low, and the same on this one here. And you can see it's actually running downhill there. I don't know how well that shows on camera, but that is actually coming downhill. You almost need a spirit level. And then when I come around here, and this pretty much secures my opinion that, even if you've got lumpy bumpy ground, you see there's a great lump there and a dip down there. So you can pitch this quite easily on lumpy bumpy ground. And again, obviously, if I didn't have that on a short line, was on a long line, you'd have, a big gap under there because of this high pitch here. But because of that, I was able to pitch that down there. I will say that I think, and I didn't bring the Cuben Trailstar with me.
What I'm trying to say here is that the Cuben Trailstar probably would have struggled a lot more on that uneven ground to get a good pitch.
It wouldn't be as easy. You want to get the front a little bit lower, but you still want the back low. So what you can do, howling an absolute gale here, loosen these off, just very slightly, not too much, because if you do it too much, then your central pole will drop again. Now you can tighten that front down, you can tighten that front down there, loosen that off a bit more there, you can tighten that one down there. Now come back around the back, tighten that one off there. Like I said, you just have to sort of play around with it, a little bit. And now, okay, maybe this one. You see, because the ground isn't very level, this is where you might just want
Move the peg closer.
Pitch, you know, that one, you know, down a little bit lower maybe. And then if you pull on this here, and that just tightens everything up. Now you've got the front here and here, you know, a lot lower. And obviously you can do that with these. What I do suggest, and this is a personal suggestion, is that I always think it's actually a good idea that the one that's away from the wind, in this instance this is actually the windward side, but let's imagine the wind was coming towards us here. I always think it's a good idea to have this one a little bit longer, because then you just get a little bit more of a door to get in. Because if you have it pitched like right down and right down, it gets getting in and out even more, you know, difficult. Whereas, as I say, if you keep this one longer, if the wind was coming in this direction, like I said, it's coming more that way, but if it was coming in this direction, you keep that one longer and maybe that one longer, it'll help with ventilation too. And like I said, if you've got the wind coming, you know, assuming the wind was going in this direction here, obviously this one here that's a gap, but you could, there's no reason not to take this peg out and just pitch it, you know, down there, and that will, you know, pitch it much closer to the ground. So you can, you know, you can be very adaptable with this. And then of course, when it's nice weather and not blowing an absolute gale, then you can just pitch everything higher, as high as you want within reason. And in fact, what I suggest you do when it's really quite nice weather is sort of pitch two sides quite close to the ground, like I was describing, and then just pitch your door, maybe the front door a bit higher and one side a bit higher, which you can do by lengthening your lines. And when it was at 36.5 and I was inside this one here, I didn't even know it was 36.5. All that happens, they flex.
What I'm trying to say here is that when you're inside, the only thing that will happen is that the sides will come in and just, you know, gently touch you on the hair, just to remind you that you're being very well protected by that silnylon Trailstar.
So obviously if you picture the back, then obviously that back wall, you know, will come in more. If the terrain and the land allows, I would suggest that you try to pitch or at least sleep, you know, head to toe, as it were. So your feet are down there, and then your head is more up here. And this wall here is less likely to be coming in on you because the wind is going to be coming from the back. But because it's a bit lumpy bumpy here, I felt that it was easier, you know, to pitch, you know, to sleep at the back. And there is enough room, you know, if you just scoot over to the right a little bit, bend your legs and your knees if you're sitting up and cooking, you know, you're okay. And obviously when you're sleeping, your head is quite
close to silnylon, obviously.
But what you do need to be careful of is that you don't lower it too much. If you lower it too much, you've got a straight line there. If you notice on mine.
What we're saying here is if you lower the centre pole too much, then obviously the sides will come in on you more. So you just need to be careful, you know, about that. 1 metre is realistically the lowest that you can get the pole.
get it, and I think I've got it set at about 1 meter 10.
I measured mine
1 meter
1 meter 5 centimeters. The point that I'm making here is that the ground at the back there is higher than down there at the bottom of the picture. With the center pole at 1 meter 5 centimeters, obviously the reason why you have a straight line here is because the ground is lower, and obviously it's curved on the back simply because the ground, you know, is higher, but it's pitched perfectly well.
Uneven, you know, terrain and ground. Alright, I mean, obviously if it's ridiculous, then, you know, you might struggle a bit, but and the other thing just to bear in mind with the Trailstar is that it's massive. It's huge. I'm talking about the Trailstar. You know, when I got here, I was looking at a certain area, and my original plan was, you can't see it, but under my phone there's a little lump under there, and I was thinking that if I put the end of the Trailstar pretty much where it is, because I can't realistically go much further back, I was thinking that my head would go there, and you might actually just about get away with it there, to be honest. You might actually just, it might just go there, but I think your head is more likely to be where the cooking pot is, or somewhere, you know, here. And I was kind of like thinking, well, it's a bit too far, it's a bit too far back. That's why I you know, put my stuff at the back, and actually there is enough room at the back. Then I'm only 5'8", so if you're, you know, a lot taller than me, you may need to sleep, you know, front and back to give you that bit more room.
As you will see, this new version of the Trailstar is slightly bigger than the old version. Keep watching and you will see, and that might help the taller person.
1 meter piece of string. I will show you how I've worked out my measuring device. So let me put that down there. Actually, let me so I've put you on super view so you get a better view. Right, so let's just make sure that we've got the right, so that's 1 meters, that's 50 centimeters, 20 centimeters, 10 centimeters, 30 centimeters. It's approximate. So that up to the stitching, so from the corner to the stitching is 1 meter. So then the stitching to the apex is 10 centimeters. Someone said that the new one was bigger. There's only one way to find out, and they might very well be right, because that is 1 meter to that point there, and that, well, it's maybe about 1 meter 15 rather than 1 meter 10. It is a little bit long. It's so unbelievably windy. Make sure you watch this video to the very, very end so I get some of the advert revenue for all of this. Right, so let me make sure I've got the right, so that's the 1 meter piece there. So I'm assuming that this one should also be about 1 metre 10. That's pretty much exactly 1 metre 10.
Stating the blindingly obvious on a 5-sided exact equal shelter, you muppet, Tony.
On the other one, the 1 metre line goes to the stitching. On this one, the 1 metre line comes to about this point here.
The weight of the old one is 650 grams approximately, and the weight of the new one is 550 grams approximately. So the new one is almost 100 grams lighter, yet 10 centimeters longer around the hem and 5 centimeters longer from tip to toe.
Ron, you're trying to make up for something here. So that's 1 metre. Obviously this is not exactly, scientific. That's 2 metres. And that piece there is, and that's 30 centimetres. It's a roundabout 2 metres 30. So that's 2 metres to there. You know, it's at least, bloody hell, I'm feeling exhausted. So it's around about 10 centimetres bigger. This old one here, it probably just needs, if anyone knows, comment in the comment section below whether these lines on here, you know, will affect the waterproofness of it. I doubt it very much.
I'm obviously not talking about the creases.
So I hope this rather long-winded video where most of you, come on then, let's just go and have a play in the water, where most of you I know have probably turned off by now. Well, good afternoon the next day. Let's just testing, yeah, you can hear me. Alright, I don't know if you can tell, but my nose is all bunged up, and a cold that I've been sort of nursing for the last few days has kind of caught me up a bit. I was hoping this morning I'd have enough energy and enough wakefulness and enough sort of thought to do a video on the MLD Exodus pack, the Cuben fibre one, like an updated video, but I felt just felt exhausted this morning, so I didn't do that. And it's a jolly good job that yesterday I did the video on the Trailstar, because I nearly put that off until today, thinking, oh, I'll do the Trailstar. I did a bit of video yesterday and I thought, well, I'll do the Trailstar today when I get up, knowing that the day that I get up and head back, I don't really get very much done that day anyway. And I checked the forecast, and the forecast for today was kind of a mixed bag of sunshine and showers. And yesterday afternoon, whilst it was windy, which was actually a good test, go on then, before putting the Trailstar, that was at the very least dry. So I'm kind of very pleased that I did put the Trailstar up yesterday and did a long, probably a far too long video as usual for me, but did a long video on the Trailstar. So I haven't done any video today this morning apart from this, and I nearly just got walking and then I nearly just did something at the car or didn't bother at all, but I thought, well, I'm not dying or anything. I just my nose is just bunged up and it's just I'm just tired and I just didn't really fancy doing so much. So we're mostly packed up, which was a bit of an effort today, but it's the usual mess. I've got everything in the rucksack, obviously just the mats there, which are strapped to the outside. Obviously I brought extra poles because I had the extra Trailstar, and then just water bottles to go in, and obviously my camera pouch, which I will strap to my side. And I thought, well, I'll do my sort of good mornings and goodbyes and good nights here, and then you can go on then, Lassie, go on then, and then you can see Lassie having a splash before we get going. But I slept okay. I think I get more sleep and sleep better right here than I do at home. Alright, Lassie, well, it's 2:15. It's 2:15, so by the time we actually get this lot, you know, finally on my back and walking, it'll be about 2:30. So probably be back at the car about 3:15, 3:45. Go on then, have one more swim. Go on then, go and have a swim. Go on then, have a quick swim. Have one more splash. Right. Alright, I think that's enough of you splashing. Alright, well, probably out again in a week or so's time, and then there might be a little break, and then it might be a bit ad hoc in June. Got a few things going on in June, so I'm not quite sure what's going to happen there. But anyway, Lassie and I will see you soon, and I hope you enjoy the videos we managed to edit and put out from this trip. Probably quite long-winded ones, but I did enjoy that steak. That was nice. Okay, I'm going to get going. This is going to be a very long video for you, I think, because I'll just tag this bit on to the end of yesterday's. No point in just putting a 5-minute video out on saying goodbye to you all. So most of you probably won't have even got to this far, and most of you won't even know I've got a cold, so most of you will have no sympathy for me. Nobody will say come back soon. So anyway, kind of interesting to see how anybody gets to the end of this one. Alright, one more for Lassie then. Go on then, have one more swim, and then I've got to get that pack on you. Go on then. And of course you love getting yourself wet. Go on then. Just before it's time to put your pack on, which means I have to get damp hands doing that. Oh God. Alright, that really is it now. Alright, until next time, see you soon. Doodaloo.
If you were mad enough to get this far in my video, then please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, hit the notification button to all so you get notified for my future mad videos. And don't forget to pop back sometime soon for my video on cooking potatoes, steak and a pepper. Please just bear with me because it might just take a little bit of editing as I used 3 cameras. Thank you very much for your support, and I will see you again very soon.